We're playing Mystic Forge Combo, also known as Karn Forge, arguably the best colorless combo deck in all of Legacy. Let's go check it out. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. This is Mystic Forge Combo. You might have remembered about 4-ish months ago, I recorded a video. You can find that in the card above. Colorless Storm Combo. And we were winning using Walking Ballista and Aetherflux Reservoir. Since then, the deck has become more defined, redefined, however you like to say it. And now we win primarily, and I mean exclusively, with Glaring Fleshraker. So whenever you cast a colorless spell, you create an Eldrazi spawn token, and then whenever a creature enters, aka that Eldrazi spawn token, each opponent takes one. So the idea is that you want to cast a ton of spells using Mystic Forge and the One Ring, and then deal your opponent damage using Glaring Fleshraker. Additionally, you can Kozilek's command to make a ton of Eldrazi spawns, which then machine guns the opponent with your Glaring Fleshraker. So there's no need to play a dedicated win condition off of Karn the Great Creator in your sideboard. So that is how this deck operates. We're just really trying to win using Karn, the One Ring, Mystic Forge. So this has been a deck for a long time. Like, this isn't anything new, but with MH3, gaining Kozilek's command, Glaring Fleshraker, and then here's the big level up. 4 copies of Vexing Bauble. So now you have a built-in defense grid that when it's not good, you could just draw a card instead. So this deck has consistency, has better protection, and a better win condition, making Mystic Forge Combo a terrifying threat in Legacy. So what does this deck lose against? Not much. Primarily just the best deck in the format, Dimir Reanimator. So we have 4 copies of Leyline of the Void in the sideboard, and then combo that gets underneath it. So we play Mindbreak Trap. So Leyline of the Void, Mindbreak Trap, Stop Fast combo. Leyline of the Void stops, Reanimator. So you shore up all of your bad matchups in the sideboard outside of things like Null Rod and Collector Oof. Well, we do have Dismember for Collector Oof, and you could play an answer to Null Rod. I just think that it's a little bit of wishful thinking. Wastegate Battle Mage exists, but if your opponent has a Null Rod, you have to draw exactly your planar nexus, filter it for a colored mana, and then have your Wastegate Battle Mage resolve. It's just a lot of what ifs. Like, you have to draw one of your 2 Wastegate Battle Mages, you have to draw one of your 4 planar nexus, and the spell needs to resolve. So instead of pretending all of that's going to happen, I'm just not wasting my sideboard slots today. So the way that I built my sideboard, it's a lot like a Burning Wish sideboard in Legacy, where you have some powerful targets, but you have a lot of cards you can also just sideboard in. Playing one of a card in your sideboard that's just a wish target for like this obscure scenario that you can get out of, it's fun, it's cute, and it feels awesome when it happens. But each card in your sideboard is worth 7% of your total sideboard, so that means that card needs to be useful at least 7% of the time. So there's no cutesy cards today. This is just an optimized list that we're trying to win with. So if you appreciate that, like, comment, subscribe, because that's what I'm here to do. Like, I want to win, and we're gonna do that today. So, I'll see you in the first match. Hopefully we actually win some games. See ya. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicsforum.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicsforum.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the draw. So I have Ancient Tomb, I have a Manifold Key, and then we have double Glaring Fleshraker. What we're missing here is either another land or a Grim Monolith. Grim Monolith would by far be our best draw. So the question is, do you keep this? We have Vexing Bauble for protection. There's also the fear of Wasteland just shutting off your entire hand. This is close. Like, I could see an argument for keeping it, but I'm going to send it back. Okay. I think I'm going to keep this hand, but I don't love it. We'll bottom a copy of Lotus Petal. Polluted Delta. Or an Underground Sea. Duress. So this is probably Ad Nauseam Tendrils. Our opponent decides to take Grim Monolith. Okay. So that was problematic because Grim Monolith is arguably the best card in this deck. Karn the Great Creator. Okay. So we're just praying to draw some mana here. The Planar Nexus would be our best draw in the deck if we can happen to, just find one. Bloodstained Mire and a Brainstorm. Underground Sea and a Thoughtseize. Sure. So we'll see what they take here. It's Karn the Great Creator if they have a handful of artifacts, but if they don't, it might be Kozilek's Command. And they do take Karn the Great Creator. They have 3 cards remaining. Ancient Tomb, that's not terrible. We'll play the Ancient Tomb and the Glaring Fleshraker. You could choose to hold open Kozilek's Command here to make sure you don't lose to a Past in Flames. I think that's a little bit of a losing strategy just because if you don't start applying pressure, you're never going to win. And by playing out the Glaring Fleshraker, we can hopefully attack their life total enough to shut off Ad Nauseam, and then the Kozilek's Command can shut off the graveyard. They put both cards on the bottom with Preordain. And another Thoughtseize. Sure. Alright, deck, we need something good off the top rope. The One Ring. Or a Grim Monolith. I'm not very good in this spot. So I'm going to try to preserve my life total here and not tap the Ancient Tomb again. So we'll create an Eldrazi spawn and then they'll take 1. So they'll fall down to 13 life. Our Grim Monolith will resolve. And then we'll attack them for 2. So them being at 11 likely shuts off Ad Nauseam. The problem is we don't have Graveyard Hate now for the Past in Flames engine. So this deck plays 11 big threats between Karn the Great Creator, the One Ring, and Mystic Forge. I would love any of them right now, but I'd also love one of the 3 remaining Kozilek's commands, and it appears that we're just dead. Dark Ritual, Ad Nauseam from 10. Not Past in Flames, okay. Infernal Tutor, Tendrils. They're at 4. Past in Flames kills them here. And they flip the Past in Flames. Well, that's one way to win. Double Thoughtseize and a failed Past in Flames, sure. Alright, time for sideboarding. We want to bring in Mindbreak Trap and Leyline of the Void. So we have 6 cards coming in. We need to take 6 cards out. Can probably get rid of the Mox Opal. Let's get rid of the Basalt Monoliths. And then you could probably shave a couple copies of the keys if you're boarding out Basalt Monolith. It's also worth noting that my list is playing 1 more land. A lot of lists were only on 19, so we could board out a land here. You could also board out a Mystic Forge when you're bringing in 6 colored spells. And then Mystic Forge could be a wish target for Karn. I think I might like that a little bit more. So we have Leyline, but our hand isn't capable of casting spells. If this had an Ancient Tomb in it, I would keep this all day. We're forced to mulligan. Ay. Do I keep this? We'll try it. This hand is very risky. They play Scalding Tarn or Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. They go to 17. In my opinion, the take here is Lotus Petal, but we'll see what they do. And they agree. I would like to draw a Grim Monolith, please. Karn the Great Creator. We'll play the City of Traitors, play a key, and we'll play another key. Pass the turn. Polluted Delta and Brainstorm. They use the Polluted Delta down to 16 life for a Badlands. Duress. So this was actually a risky play because I only had the Karn the Great Creator as a possible hit. They knew that my hand was double Glaring Fleshraker. They were rewarded, but it was a little risky. Planar Nexus. So that allows me to play a Glaring Fleshraker here. I'm not even sure if this is a good move, but I need to apply damage so that way their Ad Nauseams fail again. They play Lotus Petal. Storm is 2. They have Threshold for Cabal Ritual. And there it is. Ad Nauseam. From 16 life. Thoughtseize, Lion's Eye Diamond. If they find Infernal Tutor, this is just over. Burning Wish, that probably does it. Preordain, Duress, Infernal Tutor, Meltdown. I guess they don't have a whole lot of mana outside of Lion's Eye Diamond, so they need like another Cabal Ritual. Dark Ritual here probably does it. Duress. So Lotus Petal, Cabal Ritual, Ad Nauseam is Storm 4. Dark Ritual would be 5. Lion's Eye Diamond would be 6. Infernal Tutor would be 7. Tendrils would be 8. The other Infernal Tutor does it. because they can go Dark Ritual, Infernal Tutor, Lion's Eye Diamond, play both copies of Lion's Eye Diamond, and then Infernal Tutor for Tendrils. They play Infernal Tutor, sure. Grabs another Dark Ritual. I'm going to save some time here. We know how they win. We can just go to game number 3. And hopefully I get a little bit of a better draw. I feel like our draws have not been great. Yeah, we'll just submit. We get to be on the play for the first time, too. Yes. Sure, we'll keep. This hand's a little risky. So we can have turn 1 Glaring Fleshraker, but then we need to live long enough for Urza Saga to get Vexing Bauble. One upside here, and it's a very small upside, is that discard will not be good against us. Underground Sea. Nice Thoughtseize. Does it come in playable? Alright. So they're at 18. They've helped our cause a little bit. We'll play Lotus Petal, Auto Yield. So with Leyline of the Void in play, all we want to do is attack their life total. And having the turn 1 Glaring Fleshraker does that. And now we'll play the Urza Saga because we want the Saga to find Vexing Bauble. That's our best thing, but we have to live 2 more turns. We'll attack, they go to 15. Blue to Delta. And Brainstorm. I believe that's all 3 games they've had turn 1 discard spell, turn 2 Brainstorm plus fetch. I mean, if you're playing Ad Nauseam Tendrils, that's exactly what you want. They fetch down to 14 life. And a Preordain. 1 card on top, 1 on the bottom. We have a lot of good draws here. Like a Vexing Bauble. We'll play an Urza Saga. And Vexing Bauble. We'll create another Eldrazi spawn. And now we'll attack with the Glaring Fleshraker. They'll go to 11. We could even activate the Urza Saga on their end step. And activating the Urza Saga will actually deal them a damage with the Glaring Fleshraker too. They play another copy of Preordain. And Brainstorm. They play Volcanic Island. Ponder. So they're trying to shuffle that Brainstorm most likely. And they do shuffle. They have 6 cards remaining in their hand. On the end step, we'll sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn and activate the Urza Saga. So you might be saying, why not use the Lotus Petal? The Lotus Petal is an artifact that makes the construct token just a little bit bigger. And now we'll draw. Okay. So how do we want to do this? I think we'll just allow the Saga to go. We'll float a mana, because this way I don't have to get rid of my Lotus Petal. We'll grab another copy of Vexing Bauble. We'll play Urza's Tower. And now we'll use the Saga to make another construct. They'll take 1 off of the Glaring Fleshraker, going down to 9. And then they'll take 7 damage here. So they're at 2. And now they need to win the game through double Vexing Bauble plus Leyline of the Void. They cast a Ponder. They now play Dark Ritual, so let's see if they have it. Storm is 2. Infernal Tutor, Storm 3. Grabs Cabal Ritual. Cabal Ritual is Storm 4. Cabal Ritual is Storm 5. Storm 6, Tendrils of Agony. That's not going to do it. I'll end up at 8 and they'll be at 14. And now we draw Urza's Saga. So I just need to do the math real quick here. We have 12 damage in play. They're at 14. So I just need to get another artifact here. So I guess it's actually better to make the construct token, because it deals the damage off the Glaring Fleshraker, and then I'm still getting another replacement artifact. But our opponent just concedes the match anyway. So we have defeated Ad Nauseam Tendrils, and we are now 1-0. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, we're on the draw again. I will keep this. It's a turn 2 Karn the Great Creator. No idea what the opponent's playing, but it's another polluted Delta deck. Underground Sea, Nethergoyf. Alright, not Ad Nauseam Tendrils. City of Traitors was an amazing draw here. We'll play that. Play the Grim Monolith. And now we'll play Voltaic Key. And they're going to Force of Will the key. Sure. We will pass. Now they play Brainstorm. Wasteland. Okay. They have 3 cards remaining. We'll take 2 here off Nethergoyf. Glorified Curd Ape. Alright, we're at 18 life. Urza's Saga. I think this is going to be a longer game, so I want to play the Saga next turn. Another Wasteland. That hurts. We'll take 2, we're at 16. They have 3 cards remaining. Play Urza's Saga. And Vexing Bauble. We will pass the turn. Underground Sea. They attack. We'll go to 14. Psychic Frog. The One Ring. But I don't have any more mana. So we just have to pass the turn here. Next turn, I can tap the Urza Saga and then go grab like a Mox Opal. And then play Grim Monolith. Wasteland number 3. Wow. Okay. That hurt. I won't lie. We'll go to 10. I could still draw like another City of Traitors. That would probably be my best draw. Nope. We will pass. I don't think there's a draw that gets me out of this now. They discard to Psychic Frog again. Go for the Throat. And now they have a 2-turn clock. Well, I guess they had a 2-turn clock anyway, but they deterministically do now. Alright, they draw a card off Psychic Frog. We draw the Planar Nexus far too late. So we lose game number 1. Do we want to change anything here? You could bring in Dismember, trying to slow them down. I don't think that's actually what the matchup is about, and I think we should just try to have more stable mana in order to win. Game number 2, we're on the play. That's a whole lot of keys, but not a whole lot of mana. We have to mulligan. Ay. Am I supposed to keep that? Like, I just don't know. Well, bottom Karn, I think having double Kozilek's command is better because it can answer creatures. So we'll play the Planar Nexus, and ideally, I would draw something like Urza's Tower next turn. Underground Sea into Tamiyo. Vexing Bauble. It's not a terrible draw. We'll play the Vexing Bauble. And I think I'll pass. We could just use the Kozilek's command to scry X and then draw a card. So 2 mana draw a card is an option. They investigate. And I do think I want to just 2 mana draw a card here. Alright, so that's all this is going to be is 2 mana draw a card. We draw another City of Traitors. And another City of Traitors. Let's play Glaring Fleshraker. If they daze this, they daze it. It's not the end of the world. Because they can just tap 2 lands to play daze. And they don't. So now we'll pass. There's no need to throw away a City of Traitors in play when I could just pass and, have one next turn. And step they Brainstorm. And now the Tamiyo will transform. If they had done that on their main phase, they could have plussed the Tamiyo. So they needed a good reason to wait. So they probably had some sort of interaction that they chose to not play. And now they cast a Ponder. They plus the Tamiyo. Underground Sea, still 6 cards. So I'm going to play the Lotus Petal now. I know it's going to be countered by the Vexing Bauble, but I do get this value off of it using the Glaring Fleshraker. And I'm doing this pre-combat because if something happens, I don't want to not get the Eldrazi spawn. We'll attack the Tamiyo. We'll tap City of Traitors. We'll play another copy of City of Traitors. And Karn the Great Creator. I'll create another Eldrazi spawn token here. They're going to Petty Theft the Bauble. Sure. That's why they left open the mana last turn. And now they can play Force of Will. Or Force of Negation. We'll replay the Vexing Bauble. Mana we have plenty of. And now we'll pass. They get back Force of Negation with the Tamiyo, and now they're playing Brainstorm. Oh, I read it wrong. I'm sorry. They got back Brainstorm off of the Tamiyo. My apologies. They did not get back Force of Negation. Nethergoyf as a 4/5. And a Murktide Regent. Okay. That is a large dragon. I would like to draw a One Ring. Instead, we find a Lotus Petal. I'm going to keep the Bauble around. I could sacrifice it right now to draw a card and make sure my Lotus Petal resolves. But I don't want to possibly lose to a Force of Will if I do find the thing I'm looking for. So they go to 14. We'll float 2 mana. We'll play City of Traitors. Okay, and now it sacrifices, so we have 4 mana. I could actually exile the Murktide region, which might be the move. It'll cost 9, and I have exactly 9 mana. So we'll play Kozilek's Command for 9. I'll scry X and then draw a card. Maybe that's just a fool's thing to do. Let's think about this. Yeah, I'm not going to exile the Murktide region. I think that's just like not the right way to play this game. We will make a bunch of Eldrazi spawn and scry X draw. Target myself. They're at 14. So Kozilek's Command for 7. Another Kozilek's Command I think might win here, or come close to it. We'll bottom Ancient Tomb, Urza's Tower, Blaring Fleshraker, Grim Monolith, and the Bauble. We'll put 2 Kozilek's Commands on top. So now they'll take a bunch of damage. They're at 6. And now we'll sacrifice all of these. This is pretty cool. This also would beat a Null Rod, by the way. We'll do the same thing. We'll create Eldrazi spawn and then draw a card. Okay, we're putting 6 mana into it. So this will just kill them once it resolves. Okay. That was sweet. It felt a little stormy, don't you think? And we'll resubmit. This hand is very good. We will keep this. I'd like a Vexing Bauble, but everything else about it is wonderful. Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. Yeah, that happens. They take the Glaring Fleshraker. Interesting. We find another Mystic Forge. We'll play out Lotus Petal and pass the turn. You want to play out the Planar Nexus here, because if they have a Wasteland, you at least get to use the Urza's Tower once for 3 mana, where if you lead on the tower, that never happens. They play a Tamiyo. Still 4 cards in their hand. Grim Monolith. I'm going to hold the Grim Monolith for now. Let's just play the Mystic Forge. Force of Negation, exiling Murktide Regent. They draw back up to 3 cards. They attack with the Tamiyo. Ouch. And they play Brainstorm, so they can now flip or transform the Tamiyo, and then they can plus it. So that way next turn they can get back Thoughtseize, Force of Negation, or Brainstorm. They found land number 2. City of Traitors. That's a good draw. Let's try another Mystic Forge. They fetch in response. Did you find Consigned to Memory? That would not be cool. They did. We'll play Grim Monolith. Pass the turn. Wait, did they forget to plus the Tamiyo last turn? They must have. Because this should have been on 4. And then this turn they could have gotten back the Consigned to Memory. Wasteland, that hurts. Okay, so their draws have been fairly good. They were on low resources, but they've hit a few runners in a row. Blaring Fleshraker. We'll play it. Their last card was another Consigned to Memory. Wow. Oh, geez. I'm going to pass. Running hot. So this turn they can plus the Tamiyo, or they can get back Consigned to Memory. They drew a land. They get back Consigned to Memory. Okay. We'll just pass. Under City Sewers. They surveil away Polluted Delta. They plus Tamiyo. On the end step, let's Kozilek's Command. I'm afraid if I do it for 1, they're not going to counter it, so I'll do it for 2. Target myself. I'll trade a Lotus Petal here in order to get rid of the Consigned to Memory. Like, if I do this for 1, there's no chance. And now they use the Consign. Urza's Saga. We'll play the Urza Saga. I will lose my City of Traitors. I could tap out for the Kozilek's Command here, but I'm afraid of losing to Daze, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll just leave the Urza Saga untapped. And now we will Kozilek's Command again. X is equal to 4. They will draw off the clue token. That was not very good. We'll put these on the bottom. So, like, do you even keep Glaring Fleshraker when you don't have anything to trigger it? I don't think so. We'll bottom. And we draw a key that's worthless. Okay. I mean, we had 5 looks there for a 4-mana spell, and we missed. They plus the Tamiyo. Thoughtseize. I think that they knew that this was in my hand if they had been paying attention. Because I opened on double Planar Nexus. Urza Saga will now go to the 2nd chapter. We find another Kozilek's Command. I'll untap the Grim Monolith. Tap for mana. We'll play the Planar Nexus. And we will Kozilek's command where X is equal to 4 again. Target myself. I'm leaving enough mana here to activate the Urza Saga. This card is such a difference maker. It is so good. We find Karn the Great Creator. I don't think we need Vexing Bauble at this stage of the game, so we'll just get rid of that. Keep the Karn. And now we'll play Karn the Great Creator. Let's minus the Karn. Yes. I'm trying to think of how I lose this game. I think I lose this game to Murktide Regent. So I'm going to go get Tormod's Crypt. And we'll pass. And then in their upkeep, I'll activate the Tormod's Crypt. Okay. They have 3 cards. They play Ponder. And they plus the Tamiyo again. So next turn, they can ultimate. On the end step, we will create a construct token. Draw for turn. It's a key. I think we'll just float mana. Grab Vexing Bauble. And now I'll play Voltaic Key. We'll attack the Tamiyo. If they kill the Tamiyo, or I'm sorry, if they kill our construct token, I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I believe I can play Mycos Enthelatus. They had the Petty Theft. So we'll use a key here to untap Grim Monolith. And now we'll tap it for mana. Untap the Grim Monolith. This feels so wrong. I hate Karn the Great Creator so much. And now we'll grab the Mycos Enthelatus and they'll be locked out of the game. That'll do. We have defeated Dimir Tempo and we are now 2-0 with Mystic Forge combo. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, we're facing a supporter of this YouTube channel. I know that they're a Ruby Storm enthusiast, so I'm betting that's what they're playing. And we've actually won a die roll, which means that hopefully we can resolve some cards that are good against Ruby Storm. That said, it's actually kind of funny because like we're a Vexing Bauble Karn the Great Creator deck. Neither of those things are actually good against Ruby Storm. So I'm not sure what I'm hoping to find. Just like a fast One Ring or... Ooh, they're not on Ruby Storm. Instead, they're revealing a Yorion Sky Nomad. I guess I could have looked to see if they were on 80 cards. I don't think that this is good enough. We'll send it back. This is very good. Turn 1 Mystic Forge? Sign me up. We'll get rid of Urza Saga. No idea what they're playing, but they've taken a mulligan to 5, so they are looking for counter magic. A choice that we had with our hand was to keep the Urza Saga over the Kozilek command, and now I'm wondering if I made a mistake. Grim Monolith, Manifold Key. We'll untap the Grim Monolith, tap it again, and a Mystic Forge. Karn the Great Creator. I don't want that, so we'll tap the Mystic Forge. And there's another Karn the Great Creator. I guess I'm drawing one regardless. A Shadowy Backstreet. Is this Death and Taxes? I would not have put them on D&T. So we're about to draw the Karn the Great Creator. In my upkeep, I could exile the Karn because I don't want it, and then hopefully I'll see a land. So we'll draw the key, and now we find the land. I realized that like I could have just drawn the Karn, but I didn't want to. I mean... I would have looked like a genius if it had worked, but it didn't. Our opponent says that they appreciate me putting Karns right where they belong, in exile. We'll play the Manifold Key, and now we'll untap the Grim Monolith again. And we'll tap for 4 mana, and let's Kozilek's command for 2. Target myself. And this will allow us to draw into the Planar Nexus. Let's actually bottom the Nexus, and I'll keep the Urza Saga. And there's another land on top. Okay. We will pass the turn. They play Marsh Flats. Another Scrub land. Spirit of the Labyrinth. Well, we're not actually drawing cards, so that's fine. We will draw the City of Traitors. And now there's a One Ring, so I spoke way too soon. We'll play the City of Traitors. Use a key to untap the Grim Monolith. We'll play the One Ring. We gain protection from everything. And now we'll play Manifold Key. Use the Mystic Forge to exile the top card. Alright, so we found a Kozilek command, which we can cast. We'll untap Grim Monolith, and this will unlock our One Ring too. So we'll tap... Actually, let's get rid of a Spirit token, or I'm sorry, a Scion token here. So we'll play the Kozilek command, and what we'll do is we'll make mana, and then exile the Spirit of the Labyrinth. Oh, I can't target myself with the K command. So we will exile target creature, exile cards in graveyard, exile a creature, and then we'll exile these two cards. And then we'll dump 4 mana into it. And we'll now sacrifice the token. We'll untap the Grim Monolith, play the Glaring Fleshraker, activate the One Ring, and we are forced to pass the turn, but we're in a very good spot. They play Karakas, Swords to Plowshares, and another Spirit of the Labyrinth. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. We'll take 1 here off the One Ring, draw for turn, and now Vexing Bauble, I'm sorry, or the Urza Saga 3rd chapter will happen, which will shuffle away the Vexing Bauble. I think we're supposed to just grab another key here. Let's exile the top card. Another One Ring. I could play it. I don't want to. Let's untap the Mystic Forge, and we'll exile the One Ring. Untap the Mystic Forge again. Exile the land. I'm at 15. We'll play Mox Opal. Untap Mystic Forge. Exile the Ancient Tomb. There we go. We'll play the Planar Nexus. Goodbye, City of Traitors. We will now untap the Grim Monolith. Kozilek's command is way too good. So we'll create some Scions, and then we'll exile Spirit of the Labyrinth. We'll activate the One Ring. And we'll just pass. Wow, I just realized how lucky it is. That's the 4th Kozilek's command on top of the deck. We'll lose 2 life to the One Ring. We'll go to 11, we'll activate the Mystic Forge. Untap the Grim Monolith. Play Grim Monolith. We'll draw 3 cards using the One Ring. Play Lotus Petal. Tap the Grim Monolith. And now we will untap the One Ring again. We'll draw 4. There's a Glaring Fleshraker. We'll untap the One Ring. We'll draw 5. A lot of lands. Play the Urza's Tower. Play Glaring Fleshraker. Lotus Petal. Triggers. Another Swords to Plowshares. Okay. We'll untap the One Ring. Draw 6. 10 cards left in our deck, by the way. Alright, so we found Karn the Great Creator. We'll play Grim Monolith. Play a key. And now we'll untap a Grim Monolith. Tap it. Up to 5 mana. We'll play Karn. And this gives me exactly enough mana to play the sideboard, what is it called? Paradox Engine. We'll grab the Paradox Engine. I need 1 more mana, though, to really start doing what I want, so we'll play a key. And then use the key to untap Grim Monolith. Tap the Grim Monolith. Sacrifice the Eldrazi Spawn. We'll play the Paradox Engine. Wait, did I have 2 Lotus Petals the whole time? I might have just wasted a few spells, but that's okay. And now we get to untap everything. So we'll make a bunch of mana here. We'll play Mystic Forge. I could use all the keys, but I'm at 16 minutes already. We just need to speed this up. I will activate Mystic Forge to exile the top card. We'll make some more mana. Play Karn the Great Creator. And there's the Glaring Fleshraker. If they have a 3rd Swords to Plowshares, that's actually a little bit problematic. And I guess I'll use some keys this time to make mana. Alright, let's play Basalt Monolith. We'll play the Glaring Fleshraker. Use the Mystic Forge. We'll play Lotus Petal. Auto yield to the Vexing Bauble. We have 43 floating mana, which is plenty. We'll play the Basalt Monolith. 14 minutes on the clock. I have to get going a little bit faster here. I don't know how many Glaring Fleshrakers have been exiled. I think there's still 1 in the deck. So I'm digging to that right now. We'll use the Mystic Forge. Play Grim Monolith. Is my bottom card another Glaring Fleshraker? That's what I need to know it is. And now we'll play another copy of Glaring Fleshraker. Okay. And now we'll cast Kozilek's Command. And our opponent concedes. Nice. Whew. 14 minutes. Death and taxes. We probably want Dismember. Vexing Bauble does not seem great. And then maybe we'll bring in Disruptor Flute instead of Vexing Bauble. Let's try this out. I think that this hand is actually very good in this matchup. I will keep. Just the stability against Wasteland is one of the best things you could ask for. They play a turn 1 Karakas into Grafdigger's Cage. Does that do anything against us? I don't know. I can't cast spells from the library, so it shuts off Mystic Forge. It does. Okay. We'll play Saga and Manifold Key. So I could lead off here on Ancient Tomb. I realize that, and that allows me to play a turn 2 One Ring or a turn 2 Karn the Great Creator. I just know that the D&T opponent's going to keep a hand with Wasteland. Like, I don't want to play into that if I can help it. Disruptor Flute. We will play the Disruptor Flute, and I'm going to name Spirit of the Labyrinth. A lot of lists don't even play Thalia, Guardian of Thraben anymore, and I'm willing to bet that our opponent, who's a pretty savvy guy, I mean, I've done tutoring sessions with our opponent, is up to date on the current lists. So I'm willing to believe that they know enough to not play for, Thalias. We'll play Grim Monolith, which was an amazing draw here. And we'll tap, untap the Monolith, tap it again, play the One Ring, protection from everything, which means that Ancient Tomb will not deal me damage this turn. We'll draw a card, another Karn the Great piece of trash. We'll play Manifold Key, tap for mana, use the key to untap Grim Monolith, play Karn the Great Creator, and now we can just go get Mycosynth Lattice and then next turn lock them out. Okay. They're going to Legend Rule Karakas. White Orchid Phantom, sure. We'll shuffle. We'll take one here off of the One Ring. We draw a Lotus Petal. This thing has flying, by the way. Slightly obnoxious. Let's draw 2. Let's play Planar Nexus. Untap Grim Monolith. Tap the Grim Monolith. Untap Grim Monolith. Tap it again. We'll play Mox Opal. And play the Mycosynth Lattice. We'll now plus the Karn the Great Creator on Mycosynth Lattice, turning it into a 6/6. It doesn't matter. You might be saying, but they could Swords to Plowshares. They can't, because their land doesn't tap for mana. You might be saying they could Solitude. They can't, because they cannot exile a white card. Our opponent is locked out of the game at the moment. Their one hope is killing Karn the Great Creator. Okay, so they attack Karn. We'll take 2 here off the One Ring. I go to 13. We'll play the Urza's Tower that taps for 3 mana. We'll plus the Karn on the Mycosynth Lattice. We'll play another Karn the Great Creator. Keep the new one. We'll plus this one on the One Ring. Let's attack for 10. I'm an aggro deck, no big deal. Our opponent says GG's. We're now 3-0 with Mystic Forge combo. 2 matches left. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Round number 4. We're on the play. The last few times I faced this person, they've been on Dimir Reanimator. I don't know what they're playing today. This is a... Actually, hold on. I think that this might actually be the mirror match. Karn seems pretty good in the mirror. If I'm remembering correctly, I think that they're actually Mystic Forge combo. This is... We'll see what happens. Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, Lotus Petal, Karn the Great Creator, play Lotus Petal, we'll minus the Karn, yes, and our opponent just immediately concedes. Yes! Here we go! How does it feel to get Karned? Good? Does it feel good? We'll bring in Mindbreak Trap on the draw, get rid of a couple copies of Vexing Bauble. But I think we might want Dismember on the draw over Vexing Baubles. Actually, Dismember is probably just good. It kills Glaring Fleshraker and all that other good stuff. Give them a little taste of their own medicine. This hand seems delightful. We will keep. Urza's Workshop. And they are on the mirror match, but I'm not playing the Urza's Workshop build. Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Glaring Fleshraker, pass. So our best draw is probably a 0-mana artifact. And they have 4 mana on turn 2. I must have miscounted. Oh, they have 5 from the Urza's Workshop. And they have Karn the Great Creator, but I'm not conceding to that. Like, we are still very much in this game. And they minus their Karn for a Paradox Engine. Yeah. Grim Monolith. So we'll play Glaring Fleshraker, which will create a Eldrazi spawn. And I have 1 mana floating. I could sacrifice the spawn to play Grim Monolith. And now we'll attack Karn the Great Creator. Pass the turn. Their Urza Saga goes up to the 2nd chapter. And they have Paradox Engine, so if they have a One Ring or Mystic Forge, we could just be dead here. So they can use the key to untap Grim Monolith, and then they can tap that in the workshop for 5 mana. They then have a land drop or any 0-mana artifact untaps their artifacts. The thing is, if they don't have a 0-mana artifact or a land, we get the ability to untap, kill the Karn the Great Creator, and then try to win for ourselves. The One Ring. So they didn't have the untap effect. They must have drawn the Lotus Petal then. Okay. We drew our own Karn the Great Creator. Alright, so we'll go to combat, swing out at their Karn, and we'll play our own. Boom! So they don't take damage this turn because of the One Ring, and our opponent concedes the match. Too easy! We're now 4-0. Let's go get that trophy. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? Welcome to the final round. We're on the draw versus a trophy grinder who plays a lot of the top decks. They play Mystic Forge combo. They play Dimir Reanimator, they play Nadu, a little bit of everything. And here they have a turn 1 Thoughtseize. So I'm guessing it's probably Dimir Reanimator, but let's find out. They take our Grim Monolith, okay. Another copy of the One Ring. We'll play out Urza's Tower and pass the turn. Bloodstained Mire for a Badlands. Interesting. Okay. What are you up to? Is this Rakdos Reanimator or is it pure Grixis? Like, I'm wondering if they have counter magic or not. Losing the die roll was not ideal. They select Atraxa. Okay, let's see if they reveal blue cards. Interesting, they're on Rakdos. Okay. If we want to win this, I need to... Well, they hit the Lotus Petal. So they can Thoughtseize me right now, but I did draw another ring. So I guess the best thing that could happen is I draw like another Grim Monolith into the One Ring, and then we use the One Ring snowball advantage to win the game. They could also go, they selected Exhume, Lotus Petal, Entomb, Bristlebrand, Bloodstained Mire. They have Unmask. Okay. I mean, I don't love my odds of winning this game right now. They exiled Gristlebrand. We can cross that off. So they still have Lotus Petal, which they played. Velgavoth, they didn't. They didn't keep a Thoughtseize, so they kept Exhume. Looks like they accidentally didn't keep Animate Dead. That seems like a punt. So they have Exhume, Entomb, Mire in hand. Alright, Grim Monolith. Mystic Forge was not what I needed. We have to pass. Grim Monolith or Planar Nexus were our best draws there. I would have taken a Lotus Petal too. So now they attack with the Atraxa. Ouch. I go down to 13, they're up to 17. And now they can go Entomb into Exhume. There it is. They grab the Gristlebrand. Yep. We get back the Fleshraker. They're at 10. I guess I shouldn't have hit the F6 key, because if I had the Kozilek's command, basically I told them that I didn't draw Kozilek's command. I guess that's my point. They could draw 7 more, but I'm not sure if they will. They unmask, exiling the Velgavoth. They probably take Mox Opal here because it gives me the 4th mana for all these 4 drops in our hand. We just need anything that makes a mana on our turn. Anything. They take a copy of the One Ring. Okay. So if their thought process here could be to just discard the pair of One Rings and say good luck. And that looks like it's going to be it. So I need to win this turn off of Mystic Forge. We draw the Kozilek's command. That might be useful later. We'll play the Mox Opal, create an Eldrazi spawn. They go down to 6. Alright, so let's talk through possibilities here. I could Kozilek's command for 4. I'm sorry, for 2. And that would deal them 1. They would go down to 5. I would make 2 1/1s. And then I could try to scry into a land, but that doesn't get me to Mystic Forge. And they have lethal in the air. If I find like a City of Traitors or something, that could be good. I think I'm supposed to do it for 2 and just hope for the best. We'll play Kozilek's command. We'll scry 2 and then make a couple 1/1s. Alright, deck. Be good to me. We have a chance here. So this will put them to 3. The Planar Nexus allows me to cast Mystic Forge, but it's not... Keeping another Glaring Fleshraker actually doesn't help me either. Do I keep the Planar Nexus? I think I have to. Or I could bottom like trying to spike something better. But what is better? So I'm just talking out loud here. They're about to go to 3. I could do Karn the Great Creator, Tormod's Crypt. That would put them to 1. This is a really difficult decision. So I have 4 Lotus Petals, 3 Grim Monolith, 2 Basalt Monolith. Those would all win. I think keeping this is a trap. We're going to bottom. We drew it anyway. Alright, so we'll play the Nexus. Karn the Great Creator puts them to... Let's view our sideboard. It puts them to 2 life. Tormod's Crypt would put them to 1, which is just shy. I think it has to be Mystic Forge. So this will put them to 2. Mystic Forge. We're short. We can't cast it, so I can activate the Forge. Alright. We'll go to 10. And there's another Kozilek's command that I can't cast. We're dead. We were so close. I needed a better reveal. Alright, so now we'll bring in Leyline of the Void. I think I like Vexing Bauble because they're a build that plays Unmask and Lotus Petal and stuff like that, so I'm not sure if I want to get rid of those. Just slowing the game down for us, I think, is good. The question is, what am I boarding out if I'm not getting rid of Vexing Bauble? You know, I think the Baubles just have to go. I'm wrong. We will submit. Game number 2, we're on the play. This hand doesn't actually do anything. It's very close, but it's not good enough. You're putting a lot of faith in these ley lines here. Alright, I mean, I wish we had a land. That's my one concern. They have a mulligan to 5. Like, if I could trade this Voltaic Key for an Ancient Tomb, this hand would be insane. I'd even take an Urza's Tower, to be honest. Play out the Lotus Petal, and then we'll pass the turn. Polluted Delta, Lotus Petal. They have 4 cards remaining. Ancient Tomb, Planar Nexus. That's good enough. We'll play the Grim Monolith. Play Voltaic Key. Untap the... No! Cancel. Untap the Grim Monolith. Play the One Ring. Sweet. Alright, the final game of this league for the trophy. Can we get there? Something you could consider, and I'm just throwing it out there, is you could try bringing in Mindbreak Trap if they open up on a really fast start. It does make your Mystic Forge worse. Probably board out like 1 key and 1 Basalt Monolith. I'm going to just hit submit. I think that the Mindbreak Traps could be good, but I don't want to water down my own deck. And I think the real key is just finding Leyline of the Void. It's not maybe getting them with a Mindbreak Trap. They have mulligan to 6. We will join them. Ay. They've kept 6. I'm going to go to 5. Like, a Thoughtseize just shreds this hand. No Leyline. Do I keep this? Do we think a 4-card hand is going to be better? I'll get rid of the Glaring Fleshraker and Urza's Tower. Not finding Leyline was brutal, but if I go down to 4 cards, like this deck, I just recorded Reanimator. They play Show and Tell. So I could mulligan to Leyline only to lose to Show and Tell because I went too far down with no resources. They have turn 1 Faithless Looting. Come on, no large creature, please. Archon of Cruelty Sneak Attack. Wow, that's tech. And they have turn 1 Archon of Cruelty. That's brutal. Alright, goodbye Planar Nexus. So we have to hope that my turn 1 Ring is good enough to beat an Archon of Cruelty. Play Grim Monolith, play out the Lotus Petal, play Voltaic Key, untap Grim Monolith, and the 1 Ring. We will pass. I don't know how we're going to beat a turn 1 Archon of Cruelty. They fetch Shenanigans. Wow. So they turn 1 Archon into Shenanigans to destroy my mana enabler. That hurts. On the end step, we'll draw a card. Perfect, right on time, Leyline of the Void. Love to see it. Okay. And another Leyline of the Void. So if I activate this, I go to 12. They attack, I go to 9. And my upkeep, I take 2. I mean, I'm pretty much dead here. We'll play Grim Monolith. So I could exile the Shenanigans, so that way they can't dredge the Shenanigans and destroy my Grim Monolith. But then so I guess the game plan would be next turn somehow make enough mana to Archon of Cruelty, to answer the Archon of Cruelty, but I think I'm just dead. Hold on. Maybe I'm supposed to just try to chain the copy of the 1 Ring. So let's untap the 1 Ring. So I'm looking for another mana and a 1 Ring. We did not find that. And I believe I'm just dead on board now. We'll play Mox Opal, play the Planar Nexus, play Basalt Monolith. So I guess our hope here would be we draw into another key and then activate the 1 Ring again. So X is equal to 3. We find a key, we'll bottom the lands, we'll play the key, and now we need a perfect draw 4. Draw 4 cards. Not going to do it. Ah, damn. We're so close to that trophy. They dredge Shenanigans, sacrifice the Eldrazi Spawn, discard Leyline of the Void. Yep. And I'm dead to my own 1 Ring. They play Underground Sea. They destroy Voltaic Key? Sure. And now I died to my 1 Ring. So, good league. It's hard to be upset about coming that close and not getting the trophy. What do I think of the deck list? It was great. I think that if I were to play this at Eternal Weekend, I would not play the Mindbreak Traps. And I'm not saying that because I'm a dirty combo player, really. I'm saying it because in a large field, you're so unlikely to get paired against Storm Combo or anything like that. Like, it's such a small percentage. Like, it's going to be less than 3%. So I think if you were looking to play this at Eternal Weekend, like I played Mindbreak Trap because there's a lot of combo in Magic Online leagues because people are grinding for value. They want something fast. But at an event like Eternal Weekend, I'd probably play 2 more defense grids so that way you have a better shot against Fair Blue. I think that makes a lot of sense. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I had a blast playing this deck. Hopefully you had a blast watching it. And that's all I've got for today, so I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, keep storming. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. After you do that, open up our description where you can find all of our social media networks, including our Discord, where you can discuss today's deck in that Discord with me and tons of other combo masterminds. It's absolutely free to join, and it's certainly worth your while.